Imagine waking up one morning and everything feels normal. Birds are chirping, coffee's brewing, people are heading to work. But then when you go to bed and wake up again, it's the exact same day. Same weather, same conversations, same headlines, over and over again. That's what it would be like if Earth got trapped in a time loop. One single day repeating endlessly forever. No one grows older. Nothing changes. Every event resets at midnight. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, but let's break down what this strange, humanity-ending disaster might really look like if it actually happened. At first, most people wouldn't even notice. The first loop might feel like deja vu, but by the second or third loop, it would become clear. You'd see the same people doing the same things, making the same jokes, wearing the same clothes, every single time. Social media would start filling up with people asking if anyone else is noticing the pattern. News stations would scramble to explain it, until they too start repeating the same broadcasts every day. Governments would try to stay calm, but behind closed doors, they'd realize this isn't something they can control. It's not a war or a natural disaster. It's time itself freezing and looping on repeat, and no one knows why. As the loops stack up, some people would start experimenting. They'd try staying up past midnight, driving as far as possible, or even trying to fly into space, hoping to outrun the reset. But nothing would work. At midnight, everything rewinds, injuries vanish, objects return to their original places, memories are wiped for some, but not all. That's what makes it terrifying. Some people would remember the loops. Others wouldn't. That split alone would tear communities apart. People who do remember would feel trapped and helpless, while those who forget would act like it's a brand new day every single time. The longer it continues, the more chaotic it would become. People with loop memory would stop caring about rules or consequences. After all, everything resets. You could steal, fight, or worse, and by morning, it's like nothing ever happened. This would lead to growing pockets of lawlessness. Small towns might stay quiet and routine, but major cities would turn into playgrounds for people who've given up on morality. And since nothing ever really sticks, some would take the opportunity to do whatever they want. Others would retreat, isolating themselves or creating underground communities of people trying to make sense of that endless repetition. And this is just the beginning. In a world where tomorrow never comes, everything we know, everything we rely on, starts to feel meaningless. No birthdays, no new seasons, no progress. Just the same sun rising on the same day, again and again, with no end in sight. As weeks go by, although weeks don't really exist anymore, people who remember the loop start to count the cycles. Some make journals, scratching tallies into walls or recording voice memos just before midnight, trying to track how long they've been stuck. After about 30 or 40 loops, patterns emerge. People begin to split into groups. There are the optimists who believe there has to be a way out if they just keep trying. Then there are the realists who accept the loop as permanent and begin to build routines around it. And then there are those who break, mentally and emotionally, because the weight of eternal repetition is too much. Cities that once buzzed with daily activity start to feel hollow. The same traffic jams happen at the same intersections, the same store clerks greet the same customers, restaurants serve the same specials. But now some people stop showing up, not because they're physically gone, but because they've checked out. They hide in their homes or wander the streets without purpose. Others start tampering with routines. They cause accidents just to see if anything changes. But every night at midnight, everything resets as if nothing ever happened. Large-scale systems begin to fail, not because of physical damage, but because no one has any reason to maintain them. Flights get canceled, shipments stop moving, and stores run out of fresh stock. Of course, the food magically reappears the next morning, but it's always the same. The same fruit in the same place, the same canned goods, the same milk in the same spot on the shelf. Eventually, that predictability starts to wear on people. There's no novelty, no discovery. Even something as simple as tasting a new flavor is impossible. As more people start to remember the loops, underground networks form. Groups trade information, experiment with cause and effect, or try to coordinate actions across loops to discover how deep the loop really goes. Some even develop religions or belief systems around it, claiming that Earth is in some kind of test or punishment. Others turn to technology, using every loop to build towards some larger theory or device, only to lose all progress when the loop resets. And then come the cities that collapse entirely. Places like New York, Tokyo, or London, which rely on constant energy, movement, and organization, suffer the most. Subways stop running. Power flickers. People either flee or create small micro-communities that occupy the same buildings day after day. Skyscrapers go dark, and parks become gathering spots for those looking to connect with others who still remember. But tension rises. With no law, no growth, and no future, every conversation becomes circular, every relationship frozen in time. The world starts to feel like a cracked mirror, intact on the surface, but breaking apart underneath. People cling to old routines, but the meaning behind them fades. Weddings are planned but never happen. Projects are started but never finished, and the clock always strikes midnight, dragging everyone back to the same beginning once again. After what feels like hundreds of loops, though time itself is now meaningless, something strange starts happening. People begin treating the loop not as a curse, but as a kind of playground. Since nothing they do carries over into the next day, some lose all sense of morality. Crime skyrockets in some areas, not because people are desperate, but because they know there are no consequences. Every wrong is wiped clean at midnight. In some cities, entire neighborhoods turn lawless. Fires are set just to watch them burn. Buildings are tagged with graffiti or torn apart for fun, only to be spotless the next morning. The cycle feeds chaos. Elsewhere, some try to create order from within the madness. Communities of loop survivors form with their own rules and systems. They elect leaders, assign roles, and plan out each day as if it were permanent. But the constant reset wears down even the most stable plans. People forget small details. They get lazy. Arguments break out, often over things as simple as who should do what job today. Every reset means re-explaining, redeciding, restarting. Children born just before the loop started remain toddlers forever. They never grow, never learn new words, and never age. Parents trapped with young kids relive the same sleepless night and tantrum-filled afternoon again and again. For many, this becomes one of the most painful aspects, watching someone you love stay frozen while your memory grows heavier with each loop. Scientists try everything. There are reports of people locking themselves in rooms lined with clocks and sensors, hoping to measure the exact moment the reset happens. Others launch rockets, send signals into space, or try to break the Earth's orbit, thinking it might trigger a break in the pattern, but nothing works. The moment the clock hits midnight, it all snaps back. Even death isn't final. Anyone who dies during the loop wakes up alive again the next morning, with full memory of what happened. Some begin experimenting with this, taking increasingly dangerous risks just to feel something new. In rural areas, people try to live off the land, away from the chaos of the cities. Farms restart every day with freshly tilled soil and ripe crops. Some find comfort in this reset. They make peace with the loop, treating each day like a quiet gift, but even this calm isn't perfect. The lack of real progress starts to wear on their mental health. Crops can't be harvested and stored. Livestock return to the same spots. Injuries vanish overnight. It's like the world itself is mocking them, offering just enough to survive but never enough to grow. Meanwhile, the internet, while still running on autopilot, becomes a strange place. Social media fills up with the same posts day after day. News headlines never change. People leave messages for each other in comments and forums knowing they'll be erased. They start tagging things with loop counts. Day 97 becomes a common phrase. Then it's day 200, then 300. Some believe they've been looping for more than 1,000 days. The weight of endless memory becomes the true enemy. With no future, the past builds up like a storm cloud, one that never breaks. As the loop stretches on endlessly, the cracks in the human mind grow deeper. People begin to forget what normal life felt like. Entire families stop talking to each other, too tired to repeat the same conversations again. Lovers break up, not out of anger, but out of boredom. Teachers stop teaching. Artists stop creating. There is no point in building anything when it all disappears with the next reset. Creativity dies a slow, quiet death. Governments collapse, not through war or violence, but from neglect. Officials and leaders simply stop showing up to work. Police departments are abandoned. Hospitals still look the same, but doctors no longer go in. Patients wake up in empty rooms, left to wander, confused and alone, with no real future to plan for. Long-term thinking disappears entirely. Planning, goals, dreams, everything becomes pointless. Some try to escape by leaving cities behind. They walk into forests, deserts, and frozen wilderness, hoping that isolation might offer peace. But even out in nature, the loop follows. Snow always falls in the same patterns. Trees never grow or die. Animals return to the same spots, reacting the same way each time. The world feels like a movie set stuck on repeat. A few groups continue searching for answers. They study the stars and watch for signs of movement beyond Earth. Some believe the planet was placed inside the loop by an outside force, maybe alien or cosmic. Others think it's a punishment for something humanity did, a kind of karmic prison, but no one can prove anything. Every experiment resets. Every discovery is lost. After what feels like years but isn't, people begin to let go. Not in a violent way, but in a quiet one. The loop becomes a background hum. Entire cities sit in silence, like they're waiting for something that never comes. Streets are empty, stores are untouched, parks grow over with weeds that will vanish by morning. Even the sun, rising and setting in perfect rhythm, feels tired. By this point, society no longer exists. Only scattered individuals remain, each trapped in their own private version of the loop. Some live in old memories, some try to relive the best day they can create over and over. Others sleep through the entire day, hoping to dream of something different. But dreams are no escape either. Even sleep resets. The worst part isn't the destruction of cities or the loss of technology. It's the slow fading of human spirit. Hope doesn't die all at once. It fades like a light that flickers more weakly each day until it's gone. With no future to reach for and no past that sticks, people forget why they ever tried at all. In the end, the greatest threat of the never-ending time loop isn't physical, it's psychological. The loop doesn't just trap the world in a single day, it slowly erases what made us human, and that's how the world ends, not with a bang, not with fire or flood, but with silence looping forever.